So, in typical me fashion, I have started off on a project and gotten a decent amount into it before remembering to record anything. So, here is where I stand so far, how I got there, and the next plan on my next project, which is a new Tach holder. So when I bought the truck, it had a aftermarket Tach already installed on the pillar here. Had a nice little enclosure. It looked good, had no issues with it, but it stopped working on me. The next Tach I got was not quite the right size for that holder, so I started thinking and decided I wanted to get creative. I'd seen the idea online, decided to steal it for myself, so now I have a can that is holding my Tach. This particular can, a little while ago, I was painting things and bored and didn't want to stop painting things, so I painted a bare can. Had no idea why, I just thought it'd be fun to do. And here we are months later, and this can is going to be the perfect piece for fabricating this. My original idea was to use some type of beer can, but I didn't know which one I wanted, and I'm not always trying to advertise for companies, and there's the question of having a beer can on the dash getting pulled over or whatever. Unlikely, but not worth the risk. So, I'm technically sticking with the beer theme because I've got a bit of a 90s theme going on with this truck, and I'm from the 90s myself. I grew up watching The Simpsons, so I am going to get a Duff Beer label sticker to put on top of this, and I will have a Duff Beer can tachometer sitting here on my dashboard, and I think that's going to be awesome. How I got the can cut carefully, that's going to be kind of the biggest step of this, because my first time trying it, I used scissors and just like a blade trying to cut it, and this whole area was just torn up, jagged, and didn't look good. So found a good way to do it online. Let me set this up real quick and then I'll show you. To cut the can, got a blade, nice box cutter. This one's dulling out a little bit on me now that I've already used it a few times. In my case, I used the lid from a candle just because it happened to be the right height, but you want something to hold the blade up a little bit. Where I want to cut is basically right where the widest point of the can is, just to give me the most amount of space to put the Tach in, and then also the most amount of height, because the bezel ends up basically acting like this top piece right here. All you do, set the can down. It's nice to find a way to secure the blade, clamp it down, or what have you if you can. In my instance, I'm just going to kind of hold it right now. You see, just kind of line up with the blade itself against the can, and then just sit there and rotate the can against the blade. Alright, there we go. So we're already starting to poke through with the blade. Now, this part, you might want to use gloves or something, just so you don't hurt yourself, or just be real slow and steady, but just a little bit of pressure, and your score mark will just kind of crack on you. You just kind of work your way around. If it gives you any resistance, just maybe hit it with the blade again. Now in this case, I was kind of rushing a little bit just for the sake of showing on the video. I don't need this one for any reason, so it's a little bit wonky. Looks like I went off mark a little bit there. But slow and steady, and something to help brace the blade nice and carefully will make it for an otherwise nice and clean cut. On my specific one, I did, because it was already painted when I went to cut it, I got a couple of chips. I'm just going to try and touch those up with a paint pen. Luckily, this spot here, which is what I'm going to consider the top, is the least chipped, so that worked out quite nicely. The Tach itself was a little bit smaller in diameter than the inside of the can, so it had a little bit of rattle to it, just kind of shake, and it wasn't holding on too securely. So what I did for that was I took a beer koozie and just trimmed a piece of it off, taped it in place so that it'll kind of ramps its way up, so you can kind of, massage the can, or massage the Tach into the can, and that actually gives it a nice strong hold, pretty darn decent. So now I just need to do a little bit of cleanup, wipe off any fingerprints, touch up the white, And then I get to put my logo. Super excited. Bought it off the internet. I want to make sure, I think I'm going to more or less have it angled like this with the cables coming out off to the side a little bit, just like right on the corner. But I want to make sure, you know, just kind of exactly where I'm going to have it before I put the sticker on. So that way I can have the sticker as centered as possible. But I think that is going to be pretty darn cool. So we'll clean up the rim, figure out how exactly I want it to be as far as what angle, what degree for the wires, put the sticker on, and then we're going to figure out how to, well, not figure out, we're going to wire it up. And then I've got an idea for how to kind of prop it up. I don't want to just sit completely flat. It's kind of a weird spot on the dash there. I do want it to be propped up a little bit. So I've got a mount we're going to work on for that as well. So here's a quick moment of humility in my project. So my tack had stopped working. Okay, fine, they go bad. I order a new tack. Instead of testing it, I go straight into building a new housing for it. That's what this video is. Get all excited about it, get everything all set up. Have the housing assembled, I'll show you that in a moment. And get it all wired in, and it doesn't work. Okay, so maybe I misdiagnosed the problem, because I didn't actually diagnose the problem at all. I just ordered a new part. Tested all my wires, and everything seemed to be fine. I was getting power, I was getting the light, I was getting seemingly everything except for signal. The tack wouldn't move. So, okay, maybe it's a dud. You know, I bought a real cheap one. Maybe it's just bad. It happens, right? I can potentially return it. So I buy another one just in case. Test that one out. Word to the wise, test your electronics before you go through the effort of installing them or, God forbid, modifying them. Test the new one. Doesn't work. Got power. I didn't even bother testing the light on this one, but I got power going to it, and I just don't have signal. Okay, so I do a bunch of research. There's all talk about tack filters. They're a resistor, basically, that is designed to clean up a messy tack signal. But it's a resistor, and I don't have any tack signal, so I don't think a resistor is going to do the job. So, you know, I decided to go with the definition of insanity and order a third tack. Now, the two that I'd bought were a different brand from the one that was originally in there. So my bit of logic was basically, maybe for whatever reason these new ones just aren't compatible with this ignition system, with the coil or whatever. The old company was working in there, so let me try that. Get that one in, go to do the test, tack doesn't move. Okay, at this point I'm losing my mind. I triple check everything. I have not changed anything about this wiring before the tack died. I don't know what's going on here. So I'm looking through the wiring diagram, I'm thinking, grasping at straws, and on a whim, I take the signal wire and I press it against the positive post of the coil, and suddenly the tack comes to life, and it moves. And I rev the engine, tack goes up, goes down with the idle. My old tack was installed, was powered off of the negative for the 2+ years that I've owned this truck, and all the instructions say to run it off the negative. So how on earth did I possibly end up with a coil that just reversed polarity on itself? By the way, I even tested the coil at one point. When I was going through all this, I had another coil laying around in the garage, so I plugged that in, tested it, still no change. But this one seems to have reversed polarity. How? Well, let me show you. So right now, through the process of testing, this is my negative plugged into my positive, this is my positive plugged into my negative. That was after I did the test. So originally these were reversed. Positive was positive, negative was negative. And then you can see signal wire coming off negative. How did it get that way? Well, once upon a time, not that long ago, we were standing around cleaning up the engine bay, just looking at things and talking about stuff. And we bumped into these wires and they became disconnected at the connections. So I grabbed 2 new connectors and stuck them back together and drove home, and everything seemed fine. Well, unbeknownst to me, when I did that, I wired the positive into the negative and the negative into the positive. The coil doesn't care as long as it's getting energy or electricity in one way and out the other. It's happy and it runs. Except now my negative was on this side where the coil was no longer connected. Me buggering that wire and then me figuring out that my Tach didn't work were not on the same day, so no correlation was made. The memory of that wiring had completely left my mind because it was just a quick incidental pop off and pop back on. I didn't even think twice about it. So now, 3 coils later, I have a functioning coil, the original one, that I can put back in there. So we're going to go and get things wired back up. I will end up reversing this again so that it's facing the correct direction. But as it is right now, the positive wire is going to the positive post and the negative is going to the negative. Just have the colors reversed at the moment. So thanks for listening to the ramble, and let's get back into installing this Tach. So my first attempt for building a mount. I got Velcro on the bottom side. It's going to sit at a little bit of an angle. So Velcro is just going to kind of stick onto the carpet and hopefully help it from moving around too much. And then the other part of it is this little piece. This was a like a wall hook. It was originally bent differently. I widened it and kind of bent it out to shape in a way that I think will work. And what I'm going to do, version 1 had it, this part, the point on the carpet, but it was a little bit too thin, too narrow, and it wiggled around too much. So version 2, what we're going to do is basically stick it right there, and hopefully the feet will help hold it supported, and we'll see if it's heavy enough to kind of hold itself in place with that and the Velcro, or if I need to come up with something else and see what happens. We are now wired in. Like many good instructional YouTube videos, I did the wiring behind the scenes, but I am at least willing to explain what I've done. As mentioned earlier, there was already a Tach wired up here, so the wiring itself had actually already been done. All I did was snip that and then splice this in. Pretty obvious there. So as far as how the original owner, previous owner, ran the wiring, for the positive and the light, it's not the cleanest, but it is effective. They are just tapped into fuses down here. Literally pop the fuse out, the wire comes out. Just put the wire in first, stick the fuse in. It's effective, it's quick, it's dirty, but it's effective. There is a ground bolt on the chassis over, give or take yonder. That actually might be the wire if I remember correctly. So negative just goes to the ground bolt on the chassis, where there's already an existing ground. And then our signal wire, as we saw earlier, is coming off the negative post of the coil and then just fed through. Again, red is currently going to my negative because of that debacle. As far as getting it kind of mounted in place, I did a couple different things. I did weight down the bottom, way down the bottom of it, just to kind of help prevent it from shaking too terribly much. Add a little bit more stability since this makes it a little bit top heavy. My bracket, if you will, is kind of ugly, hot glued in place, but you know, for the most part, you're never really going to see that until you're getting down and looking at it. So, oh well. I did reluctantly put 2 tiny little slits in my dash carpet so that I could feed that through, and then I added additional Velcro that those legs are now pinched into. So I kind of lay the Velcro down, pinch the leg in between. That helps provide a little bit of stability there, a little bit of tension on the cable, and then just a tiny piece of hose right here in between the windshield. It's not my favorite in the world. This is probably just going to be a temporary thing. I might make an update if I ever come around to a new mount. I considered the idea, since this is an assembled Tach assembly, you know, still have the original housing in there and everything, I might use the mount that they provided, but then I'd have to put a slit in the bottom of the can here and probably drill into my dash. I don't really want to drill into the dash. I want to avoid this. Like, I want to replace this A-arm now because it's got holes in it and it just a slit from the wiring. I like to try and keep, I like a lot of my stuff to be reversible. So if I drill a hole in the dash, I want to have a replacement piece of that dash. It's actually the speaker cover here, so I could probably get away with drilling into that instead of the actual entire dash, because that's way more expensive to replace. But yeah, there it is. I don't know how well we're going to be able to see the light. Yeah, a little bit. I mean, it's daytime right now, so it's not going to light up a whole lot. No idea how good it'll look at night, so we'll have to wait until night to find that out. But at least it does turn on with my headlights like we want it to. And, moment of truth. There we go, sitting at idle. The truck kind of warm up. There we go. Functioning tech. Stuff for your logo. She's cold and grumpy. So now I just need to clean the glass up a little bit, and the whole truck needs a wash, but we'll be cleaning that up just so you can see through it better, get rid of all my fingerprints, and then you can do a test drive, make sure everything stays in place. There you go. But it does seem pretty darn stable right now. With the truck being lowered and everything, it does shake like crazy, you know, especially over bumps and everything, so we'll see how that treats us. But there we go, super excited, and the end.